Hi, writers. Has this ever happened to you? Miss Katie, I'm done. I finished my book. I can just sit here for the rest of writing workshop. First graders, I know this would never happen to us because we know that when we're done, we've just begun. Thumbs up if you remember hearing that so far this year. When you're done, we've just begun. What does that mean to you? When you're done, you've just begun. To me, when you're done, you've just begun means that writers are really never finished. Whenever writers think they finish their writing, there's always something more they can do. Maybe that something more is to plan a new book or start writing. Maybe the something more means to revise and say more in your work or edit and make your work easier to understand. Today, I want to remind you that when writers are finished, there is always more that you can do. Let's look over some of this together. If you finish a book during writing workshop, you can always start to plan another piece. Writers always make a plan before they start writing. One way that you could plan your realistic fiction stories is to check Seesaw for your character's identity. You can check that assignment to see and remind yourself what your character likes or doesn't like, and about the people in their family and their friends. You should also make a new planning page. This is so important. You can make a page where you talk about what's going to happen in the beginning, the middle, and the end of your piece. That will help organize your ideas. And before you start writing, you can also touch and tell your story across the pages. Maybe you've planned out your piece and there's still time left in writing workshop. Maybe then you want to start writing. You might want to start your new book. Writers start new books a lot. But maybe you finished planning your piece and you've written for the day and you're thinking, what else could I do? You could do some revising work. When writers revise in realistic fiction stories, they check to make sure that they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. In the beginning, they make sure they introduce their characters and the setting where the story takes place. In the middle, you can introduce your problem, and in the end, that problem needs to get solved. We also learned that we could bring our characters to life by making them talk, right? You can make your characters talk by drawing speech bubbles or by using words like she said or she asked. You can also revise by adding details and labels to your pictures. Other writers might choose to do some editing. When we edit, we make our work easier to read. That's really the most important part of editing, to make sure that other people can understand our ideas. So when we edit, we ask, can I read my own work? And when we edit, we often stretch out our words and listen for vowel patterns and blends that we know. We also check for punctuation. And we can use the word wall to check for snap words. And of course, we can also check at the end for finger spaces. So writers, there are so many things that we can do in a writing workshop period. Maybe you're planning a new piece. Maybe you're drafting and writing. Maybe you're revising today, or maybe you're editing. Today, I've decided that I might need to do some editing. So I'm going to look at my piece and see what kind of editing I can do. As I edit today, I'm looking to make sure that my words are stretched. I'm listening for vowel patterns and blends. I'm checking for punctuation. I'm using my word wall to check my snap words, and I'm checking for finger spaces. So let's start reading this. I'm going to use a different color. My revisions. So here's my beginning. I have Sophia, James, and Abigail ran around at the, Okay, I see a P at the beginning. P. Oh, no, there's an L. Pool. Does it end in a D? Well, my picture here is of a playground. Maybe I meant to write playground. I can't read that. Can you read that? I don't know what I meant here. So I'm going to neatly cross out playground. And then I'm going to stretch out that word, listening for vowel patterns and the blends that I know. Okay, you can stretch it out and say it slowly with me. Playground. Pull. Play. There's that AY vowel team saying A. Play. Ground. Oh, we learned about the ow sounds last week. I know that OU can say ow. Playground. Oh, that's so much easier to read. I stretched and listened for all the sounds I could hear in playground. Let me keep reading. They love to climb up and down everywhere. Wait for me, yelled Betty. She liked to play with the big kids. Well, this part is very easy to read. I have lots of finger spaces. And I end my sentences with punctuation. I see periods, I see exclamation marks, more periods. But I'm wondering about the snap words. I've been working so hard on making sure all of my snap words are spelled correctly. I want to go through my word wall and see if I notice any snap words that I could fix. So I'm going to take out my word wall. I know it's here in my writing folder. And I'm going to start reading over here. They. Is that an A? Is that an E? How do I spell they? I know that's a snap word. Let me check. I'm going to look under T. I'm going to keep going to look for the word they. Oh, there's they. They. Did I have that? No. Let me cross that out and write it again. They. They. Let me check. They. Okay. They love to climb up and down. Down? That's a snap word that we learned. Let me check down. Down would be under D. Oh, we just learned that one. Down. D-O-W-N. Oh, right, that O-W makes the ow sound. Let me cross that out to fix that. Down. Everywhere. So writers, did you see how I edited my work? I edited it to make it easier to read and to make sure I was stretching out all the sounds. And I actually also checked my word wall to make sure that snap words were spelled correctly. So, first graders, when you go off today during writing workshop, what are you going to work on? Are you going to be planning and writing your books? Or are you going to be revising your books to say more? Or editing to make sure your writing is easier to read? Maybe you want to do more than one. Maybe you want to start out your writing workshop editing a book that you wrote yesterday, and then when you're finishing editing, maybe you want to start planning a new book. It's up to you. Writers are never finished. Off you go.